excuse everything in the background, including me. I just worked out. I look very rough right now. I'm so excited because in this video, we're going to be reading two of my most anticipated releases of 2024, and that is Funny Story by Emily Henry and This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. It had taken me a while to even get to reading these because they're both signed copies. This is a personalized copy that I bought from Blue Willow Bookshop in Texas. As you can see, she wrote my name on it and I'm just fangirling, and then this one is just a signed copy from Target and I'm very excited. Let's break it down. Carly Fortune is one of my auto-buy offers. She really won me over in Every Summer After. Love that book so much. Meet Me at the Lake. I know a lot of people didn't love that book. It wasn't my favorite, but I still gave it 4 stars and I'm so excited. I haven't seen a lot of people here on YouTube being so excited for this book, but I am. I love her. I follow her on Instagram and just seeing all the teasers of this book just make me so excited. I don't really know what it's about. I do know where it takes place though, because she's been teasing that a lot, and it just seems like such a good summer read and just something that's gonna make me really, really happy. So I'm really excited to read this, and hopefully it'll be better than her second book. And then of course we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I actually am not a huge fan of Emily Henry. My best friend is her favorite author, which is why I've read Emily Henry. She made me buy all of the books in some capacity. She bought me Book Lovers for my birthday a couple of years ago, and that is actually my favorite Emily Henry book. Something about her writing doesn't really click with me. I think it's her characters that haven't really clicked with me. I really liked Book Lovers. I really liked the characters a lot, and also I'm from Michigan, so I'm going to give Funny Story a shot, like a genuine shot, and go into it with an open mind, and I'm honestly really excited. This always makes me so excited when it seems like the whole book community and people outside of the community are like so excited for a release, and this is definitely one of those that everyone seems to be talking about. So I'm going to take a shower and read one of these books. I'm trying to decide which one to start with. I don't know which one I'm more excited for. I'm gonna contemplate it a little bit and then we will come back and see what I choose to read first. Okay, we're back and I picked Funny Story by Emily Henry. I took the dust jacket off because it was really annoying me. I'm only 30 pages in and the scene had been set. So this followed Daphne and Miles. They're living together at the start of the book because Daphne was supposed to marry... Sorry, this is like already confusing. Daphne was supposed to marry Peter and Miles was with Petra on the night of his bachelor party. Like they were supposed to get married the next day. Peter tells Daphne that he's actually in love with Petra. So he's kicking her out of their house, and who does she go live with? Her ex's now fiance. That makes sense. It's like two people are dating, they break up, date each other's exes is where we're heading. So I'm only in 30 pages, but I love this sort of plot, the trope. I don't know if I've read something like this before. I feel like I have, but I am blanking on what the name of that book is. Only 30 pages in, love the writing so far, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I am exactly 100 pages into this book. It had been a slow 100 pages as far as pacing for reading it. I feel like I usually read books much faster, but I've really taken my time to try to digest everything fully with this book. I do like it so far. I really like the pacing, and I like that it feels like we're taking our time. 100 pages in, and I haven't really gotten the sense of intense romance or an intense attraction towards one another. I haven't felt that yet, but I'm trusting that Emily Henry is gonna get me there. I really like that we're focusing on friendship, and I love seeing all of the Michigan references as someone from Michigan, and I am really enjoying it. so far, but I can feel myself starting to get a little bit bored, and instead of forcing myself to read more of the book, I'm going to take a break and come back to it. I think that is often a problem I have with Emily Henry, is that I get bored and then I force myself to keep going, and then it doesn't end up being something that I want to come back to. So I'm gonna give myself a little break and then actually like come back to this when I'm ready and wanting to read. I'm enjoying the story. I'm interested to see what's going to come. There's a little bit of a fake dating element there, but again, it is kind of moving at a slower pace. I'm going to take my time and we'll come back to this. It's the next morning. I've read about 51 pages. I'm at the 158 page mark, and I wanted to check in because I already find myself having to take another break from this book. I don't really usually have this problem. I don't know what it is. I think that I'm so desperately wanting to love this book that every single time I like hit a hump or I hit somewhere in the book that's just not clicking for me, I'm like, wait, I need to stop. Like, actually pick this up when I'm in the mood for reading, which usually, like I said, doesn't really happen. There had been like more moments, and I just read a scene where they like definitely like did stuff. So there's things happening. I'm just not really sensing the chemistry yet, but we're like 40% of the way through the book. So I'm holding out hope that it will all make sense to me once I read some more, but I'm not really clicking with Miles's character. I can picture him like exactly in my head. Emily Henry does a great job with describing and building out her characters, and I just don't like Miles. I'm not really vibing with him yet. I'm going to read some more and keep you updated, but that is where I'm at right now. So I reached page 300 and there is a little less than 400 pages of the book, so I'm gonna finish it in like the next sitting. Emily Henry knows what she's doing because she always finds a way to make situations and make them so relatable to the reader, and just like the language that she used, there's so much care and so much thought put into her writing and the metaphors, and it just always takes my breath away. So even though aspects of the story are not really hitting for me, some characters are not hitting for me, and a lot of it does feel boring, there are parts that really redeemed it to me just because of the language and the way she writes. And so that's why I kind of find myself going back and forth a little bit. I'm a lot more invested in the story than I was previously. All of her books are not really romance books, they're more like literary fiction with romance in it. This one doesn't really feel as romance heavy as some of her other books. Like Happy Place was literally dissecting a relationship, and this one I think is more about self-discovery and for the two characters to find out who they are without their other half that had been with them for so long before they split up. So both of our characters are really trying to find themselves for the first time and figure out who they are and what they like and what their hobbies are by themselves, and I think that that is really beautiful. I do wish that we had a little bit more of the romance. I don't know, I just find myself like wanting a little bit more, but the parts of this book that are good are so good, but there also are a lot of parts that are kind of boring. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this book and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Hi friends, I finished Funny Story by Emily Henry. I just finished telling my best friend my thoughts because she is Emily Henry's biggest fan and gave this book 5 stars. I did not. It really fell flat. There was hope that I had for it in the middle, as you guys saw, and then it just didn't end well enough for me, and so this was never a possibility of being a 5 stars, and then I thought maybe the 4-star range in the middle, and then I thought maybe 4 stars. Something about that didn't really seem right with me, so in the end this is a 3.75 stars. So many people on my Goodreads have given this a 5 star, and I do wonder if that would be the case if it wasn't an Emily Henry book. Let me start off with things that I did like. First of all, I thought the length of this was perfect. It was just under 400 pages, and I really did like the setting in Michigan. I thought it was beautiful. She did a really good job. I'm from Michigan and I just like loved seeing everything. I thought she did a really good job love with the character of Daphne. I loved her. I thought that she fleshed her out really well. She dealt with her issues really well and the complexities behind that. However, I didn't think that Miles was as fully fleshed out, and everyone around Miles. So we have Miles and his ex Petra. I didn't feel like that was resolved as well as Daphne and Peter. I also thought Miles' little sister, Julia, we could have had more of her. I wanted to see, and I was curious about her ending. I felt like we didn't get that. And also, Emily Henry does too much with the metaphors, like the inner monologues. It's just too much. It's too much, and she needed to edit this book down a little bit. I think that if it was dual POV, I would have liked it a lot better. There were some parts that I really loved and really related to and really made my heart melt, which is why it is a 3.75, which again is not a bad rating, but it's Emily Henry and I just wanted more. I needed more, and I actually think that this is my second least favorite book. So it goes Book Lovers is my favorite, and then Beach Read, and then Happy Place, and then Funny Story, and then at the bottom is People We Meet on Vacation. I do kind of want to reread all of them except for People We Meet on Vacation. I remember reading that book and being so upset and mad about just like the conflict in the end. I thought it was stupid. So that one I will not be rereading. But Funny Story is a solid 3.75 stars for me. I feel very comfortable in that rating and my justification behind that. I just felt like it needed more drafts, to be honest with you. Like, this is a really solid draft, not even a first draft. It is a very solid draft of a book, but Emily just needed to do some more draft, a little more editing and cutting down, and a little more adding and fleshing out Miles. And I understand that her books are more literary fiction than romances, but I wanted more of the romance. The romance scenes were really like awesome and got my heart going a little bit, and I just needed more. I want to say it was a disappointment because Happy Place was a disappointment for me. It was kind of what I expected, but I wish there was more, and I really wish I liked it. I don't know why, but when I first saw like the promo for this book like months and months ago, I thought it was gonna take place at like a beach vacation resort. I don't know why I thought that, but that would be a fun idea for a book. But yeah, I'm rambling. This was 3.75 stars. Okay, next I'll be reading This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I am excited to read this. I hope that this is not a disappointment. I'm holding out hope. Like, I hope that this will be 5 stars like every summer after, but we shall see. It is really late actually, and I read 50 pages of this. I said I wasn't gonna start it until tomorrow, but I don't have a life, so I'm 50 pages into it and I went in blind, but now I'm not blind anymore. The main character, her name is Lucy, and her best friend is Bridget. One summer 5 years ago, she goes to Prince Edward Island, which is an island in Canada, which is real and actually looks gorgeous. And she goes to meet her best friend and spend time with her family, but she meets a guy, of course, and then they end up hooking up. Turns out that he is her best friend's little brother. And her best friend literally only told her one thing, and it was, please don't fall in love with my brother. So as you can tell, it is best friend's brother. But the problem is, every single year when she goes to visit her on the island, she hooks up with her younger brother. So this is now taking place in the present, where Bridget is getting married, but she kind of freaks out and she goes to the island. So she asks Lucy to go spend time with her, and Felix is there, obviously, which is her brother. And that's where I'm at right now on page 50, and I am eating it up. Like, this is totally different than Funny Story, where I was so bored. Like, I'm so into it, and the writing is like so beautiful, and she uses metaphors that are beautiful, but it already feels a little bit more edited. But I'm gonna stop comparing the two because they're completely different. So far I'm eating this up and I can't wait to read more, but I'm gonna go to bed. My day took an unexpected turn. I got a lot less reading done than what I wanted. I really wanted to finish the book today, but I got to page 200 and there's about 340 in this book, I believe. And guys, I am eating every second of this up. I have been enjoying my time with this so much. Like, I don't wish for it to go in any place than where it had been going. It is impeccable. It had been so perfect so far, and I'm scared that these last 140 pages is gonna somehow make me change my mind. So our love interest, Felix and Lucy, something that I love about them is the fact that they already basically know each other at the beginning of this book. We get the backstory of how they met. Carly is really allowed to make us feel the chemistry, the undeniable chemistry, and just them knowing each other's mannerisms already and the inflections in their voice and everything like that just makes it so special. This book so far is my favorite Carly Fortune book. It feels so original in the way that a lot of them don't, if I'm being completely honest, and the writing is so good. It's so descriptive. It just makes me want to go to the place that's in this book. It's giving me all the vibes. This follows a best friendship, and her best friend is dealing with something and she's also dealing with her own personal stuff, and we really get to dive deep into that relationship, and I love that. I don't remember the last time I read a book about best friends that really resonated with me as much as this one has been doing, because a lot of times it's siblings, but this, I really love the relationship. And Felix, it's just so likable. I love the characters, and I think that's what's really driving me forward to want to keep reading this book. There had not been a single second where I want to stop reading this book. I think I'm about to enter one of the big conflicts in this book, because Lucy still hadn't told her best friend Bridget that she had been hooking up with her brother every single summer. They're trying to keep it a secret because they're trying not to fall in love, but also there's just this draw where it just gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and I can't wait for it to. This book does jump from the present tense to the past tense, and I feel like a lot of the times when we jump back into the past tense, it is really necessary, and she does the jumps right when we are asking the question. So she gives it to us just when we want it, which is so good. I don't feel like I need a dual POV on this one. I think with the single POV we are doing really well, and she's answering all my questions and just giving me everything that I want. I have not been bored a single second, and I'm honestly gonna be so sad when I finish it, even though I still have over 100 pages left. I'm over halfway through, and I want to keep going. It's just been such a phenomenal experience so far, and there hasn't been a huge big conflict, but we're trying to figure out why 5 days from Bridget's wedding she wants to escape to an island, basically. So I think that we're going to get to the big conflict really soon and the unraveling of events, and I'm very excited to see how her best friend takes her hooking up with her brother and falling in love with her brother, and how everything plays out. I have been so into this book. It's actually insane. I told myself I wasn't going to finish this book tonight. I just wanted to read 5 pages, and it turned into an hour and a half of me reading, and now it's late at night and I'm really emotional because I just finished this book and it was phenomenal and wonderful. It really surprised me, and I will save my final thoughts for tomorrow when I'm less of a mess, but just know that there was not a single moment in here that was boring. The metaphors were so good. Every single aspect I thought got resolved perfectly. Lucy and her best friend Bridget, that got resolved really well. Bridget's issue got resolved really well. Felix's personal problems got resolved really well. Lucy and Felix, I thought that there was no proper ending that would have suited them better than this one. And even the third act breakup, which I wouldn't even call it a third act breakup, it was perfect and it made sense, and I am just so surprised that this was this good, because I loved Every Summer After, but that one felt like it was 2 books merged together. Then Meet Me at the Lake I wanted to love. I gave it 4 stars, but there were still things that irked me about it. But This Summer Will Be Different, oh my god, there's not a single note. It was absolutely perfect, and I took my time with this one because it was so good, but I wanted to keep reading more, and I want to go to Prince Edward Island and just knowing the things behind it. And she just managed to get such a depth of emotions in such a short book. 330 pages, and I was crying, I was happy, I was kicking my feet, I really felt grief. I really felt the best friend friendship so well. It reminded me of me and my best friend, and I just thought it was perfect. I'm gonna sleep on it, but I will come back tomorrow and share my final thoughts and star rating. Hi friends, it is the next day and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I had a lot of time to think about it. I wrote a review on Goodreads. You can go follow me there. I will have it linked below. And after sitting with it for a while, because sometimes you finish a book and you're just in the right headspace where you're like, oh my god, that was amazing, and then you think about it and you're like, actually it wasn't actually as good as I thought it was, or I felt it was. But after thinking about this, getting a good night's sleep, I have decided that this is in fact a 5-star read. I genuinely just loved it so much, and I did read a lot of reviews on Goodreads that were not 5 stars. They were like 2 stars or 3 stars, and I do understand where they're coming from, but I just didn't feel that way. A lot of people think that it was cheesy and predictable, and that was exactly what I needed. It might have been predictable in the way that a lot of these stories are predictable, but the writing was just so well done. I could not get over it. It was well done in a way that it didn't feel like it was too much. It was done perfectly, and I know she talks about how she'd written so many drafts. I think in draft like 3 or 6 she completely rewrote it, and I can tell that she spent so much time with the place, with the characters, that she just made this as perfect as it can be. And I don't have any notes with this one, and something that I really like is the way that she was able to dive into this attraction between Felix and Lucy, especially with it only being one POV, which I thought was very well done. It's because they started with this hookup, right? Kind of this forbidden romance of best friend's brother, because they were always around each other constantly in these like family vacations, because she was always with her best friend. She was with him. It didn't feel like insta love at all, which I was a little bit worried about. I didn't get that at all. She really managed to build layers and depth in a 330-page book, and it was perfect. If you're looking for a summer romance set in the most beautiful place, if you want something that's going to transport you, I 100% recommend this book. It was just so good, and I really love how it focused on a best friend relationship too. I always love romance books that focus on other things as well, and this was just perfect for me. Okay, and I am going to recap my opinions on Funny Story by Emily Henry. It had been about a week since I have finished it. I gave this one a 3.75, and I am going to have to stay with that. It's not something that I have been thinking about a lot. I do think that the concept of the story was really good. I did like some of the writing, but I just know what Emily Henry is capable of. It's just like I know what Carly Fortune is capable of, and she didn't hit that in her second book, but she really did it here. She didn't really hit it in this book, so I still enjoyed it. If it wasn't Emily Henry, I probably would have given it a little bit lower, just because there were so many parts of the book where the writing felt like it was trying to do too much that I felt bored, and I just needed more Miles. I needed more of the love interest in this. I didn't get enough, and I didn't love his character, but there were so many qualities of this that I liked. It was a high quality book. It just didn't hit for me. So 3.75. Alright friends, I hope you enjoyed watching me read 2 of my most anticipated releases of the year. I had a great time making this video. Please let me know what you want to see next from me. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!